Welcome back to the Chasing Happiness podcast, an honest podcast about finding happiness, what it really means, and the process of getting there. My name is Crystal, and today we're talking about how you're doing this week. I thought it was really important to record this. It's Monday morning. To record this on Monday morning, even though you guys know the podcast goes out on Monday, because the last week has been stressful here in North America and different places around the world. It has been confusing for a lot of people. It has also been hard to process. And so I think it's important for us to check in with each other. I think it's important for us to check in with ourselves. How are you feeling? Are you emotionally drained? What are you doing to recover your energy? Are you spending time glued to the television and social media, or have you been able to cut back on some of that? I think it's really important this week especially, which is why I'm doing this podcast on Monday morning rather than air the podcast I had pre-recorded, because I think it's really important for us to be aware right now of our stress levels, to be aware of our emotions, to allow the space for those things to happen and be processed. I know there's a lot of people right now who are shocked by what happened. There's a lot of people who saw this coming. There's a lot of people who don't even know how to wrap their heads around it. And all of those are okay. It's okay if you have a different response than the person sitting next to you. It's okay if your family is handling this differently than you are. It's okay if you don't know how to process what's going on right now. Give yourself the space, give yourself the allowance of being able to take the time that you need. We are living through an insanely stressful time between the last year and everything that's happened with COVID-19, with politics in North America, but in the United States especially. It's been a hard, emotional year. And if you don't know how to process that, that's okay. But we need to allow ourselves the space and the time to try to do that, to try to heal, to try to think about what we can do to get some of our emotional energy back. So this week, rather than talk to you specifically about all of the events that happened and what my personal opinion is or what I think people should be thinking about right now, I want to give you a couple of actionable items, things that you can actually do this week that will help you to reduce your stress, that will help you to get to a place where you can process your feelings. Because the truth is, right now, the only thing that we can control is ourselves. We cannot control what other people are doing. We cannot control what is happening in a lot of circumstances, but we can control how we react to them. We can control how much of that negative energy we're exposing ourselves to, and we can control how much energy we are willing to put towards processing everything that's going on. So this week, I want you guys to pay attention to how much news you're watching, how much time you're spending on social media. Are the people that you are following on social media posting things that are helpful to you, or are they posting things that are actually making you feel worse? There's some great features on social media, both Facebook and Instagram. I can't speak to Twitter because I don't have Twitter, but those particular platforms give you the ability to still follow someone, but you can mute their posts. You can unfollow them for 30 days, but stay friends. There are all these different options. So if you're seeing a lot of something on social media that's not working for you right now, or that's making you feel overwhelmed or anxious, mute that person, unfollow them for 30 days, do whatever you need to do in order to gain control. Your social media feed shouldn't be something that depresses you. It shouldn't be something that upsets you or angers you. It should be something that when you're scrolling through it, you actually have the ability to relax a little. And I know that there's going to be some people who still want to have news and still want to follow certain accounts that are posting these things, and that's okay too. You don't have to unfollow everything, but we all know there are those people in your life who all they do is constantly post that negativity. And if that's too much for you to handle right now, it's okay for you to take a step back. Pay attention to how much time you're spending on any of the news networks, whether it's a Canadian network, an American network, a worldwide network. Is the news that you're getting helpful to you? Is it giving you the information that you need, or is it constantly recycling the same stories over and over all day? That could be really emotionally draining if that's the case. Limit your your news. Limit it to 1 hour a day or half an hour a day, or an alert on your cell phone if you're finding yourself sort of sucked into this negativity. I said it when COVID first began last year, because every station was 24 hours a day, 7 days a week about how many people were dying and what was going on. And while it's important for us all to stay informed, we do not have to be surrounded by that 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. So pay attention to that this week. Start writing down how you're feeling. Pay attention to what things are making you feel worse. Perhaps it's, communicating with somebody over Zoom or having certain meetings with people. Start to notice where your anxiety is rising. Start to notice the things that are helping you reduce your anxiety. Drink more water. You guys have heard me say this over and over again, but it is vitally important in times like this for us to pay attention to the things that actually make a difference, even though we don't notice that they make a difference. Being hydrated is hugely helpful to your body, not just so that you're actually hydrated and can function normally, but it helps your brain flush all of the buildup of proteins that happen in your brain. It helps your body flush out everything that builds up from what you're eating and what you're consuming and what you're breathing and drinking, but it also helps your immune system. It boosts your immune system to be able to flush all of those things out of your body. Being hydrated will help you sleep better, which sleep is really important, especially when you're highly stressed. Pay attention to what you're eating. What you put in your body is going to have a direct bearing on how you feel. We all know, and I can 100% attest to this, you feel absolutely different when you sit down and eat a handful of potato chips versus a salad. The two things just are not the same. And I get it, not everybody wants to sit down and eat a salad right now. And it's okay to have comfort food. But if you're constantly binging all day because you're stressed on junk food and things that aren't giving you any nutritional value, then you're not only harming your immune system because you're not getting the nutrients you're needing, you're actually causing more stress on your body because you're not feeding your body the nutrients it needs. Get exercise. Go outside. If you can, I know it's winter in a lot of places, and so that's not necessarily possible for some people, but physical activity changes you. It changes your mind. It changes your body. It reduces stress. It helps to alleviate tension. Physical activity is really important, especially right now. And the last thing that I want you guys to do is reach out to somebody. Reach out to somebody who you can vent to, or somebody who you can talk to without fear of judgment about everything that's stressing you out right now. This is the most important thing, I think, right now for people, because there are so many people we can have conversations with, but there are very few people in our lives where we can have open and honest conversations without fear of judgment, without fear of ridicule. And that's really important, because in order for us to actually process our thoughts and our feelings, we have to be able to openly state, this is how we feel and this is why we feel that way, so that we can process that and then determine whether or not, maybe we feel a little bit different. Or maybe that is how we feel, but we're not the only one who does feel that way. Other people do as well. Without open and honest dialogue, we will never get to a place where we are able to process all of our feelings and understand someone else's feelings as well. Because let's face it, most of us have different feelings about what's going on right now. Although a lot of us have similar feelings, different people have different opinions. That's just how life works. So if you're in a camp right now where you feel one way, but you know your friends feel another way, reach out to someone. Reach out to a therapist online. Reach out to a counselor, a coach, a life coach, a personal coach. Reach out to someone. Of course, you guys can always contact me, but reach out to someone who you can have an open conversation with so that you have the ability to process those thoughts and feelings. If you have a spouse or a significant other that you can talk to them. If there's someone in your life who you know would be willing to sit down with you, reach out to them. Right now, we need to not feel so isolated. We need to not feel so alone, and we need to not feel like it's wrong for us to have the thoughts that we have, because I think right now we're still trying to process 2020, and with everything that's happened in the last week, I think it's hard for us to process that while we're still trying to process 2020 as a year. So reach out. If you guys need to talk, you know you can always get a hold of me on social media, but you can also email info@chasinghappiness.ca, and I am happy to set up a meeting with you. It's been a long week. It's been a stressful week. And my concern for us as a world is it's not over. It is likely that there will be more chaos, especially in the next month. So we need to put some systems in place to be able to manage our stress levels, manage how we're feeling, process everything that we're going through, and be able to still move forward in a healthy and meaningful way. I know it's hard for a lot of people right now, and if all you want to do is sleep, that's okay too. I get it. I 100% know where you're coming from. You have to do what you think is best for you at this point in order to try and process everything and in order to try to deal with your emotions. So figure out what those things are. Spend some time reading this week. Spend some time journaling this week. Feel free to reach out and do what you think you need to do because people still rely on us. Our lives are still moving forward amongst all of this chaos. The world doesn't stop simply because something traumatic happens. And that could be true of any event that takes place in the world. So please try this week to focus a little bit more on yourself, on your health, both physically and emotionally. Sit outside with your morning coffee, watch the sunrise or the sunset, spend some virtual time with somebody who you love and you miss who is going to make you smile, video chat with the grandkids, bake some cookies, whatever it is that's going to work for you, and allow yourself the time and the space that you need to process everything that's happened in the last few days. I'm wishing you all a safe, happy, and healthy week. And of course, as always, if you guys need anything, please feel free to reach out. I'll chat with you guys next week. Bye for now.